And now, in the dark seclusion of his basement, it's Kert, the one-man trekker.
And we're live here on the first episode of the one-man trekker. And this is what's incredible about how we're going to do things, folks. Well, first of all, hello to everybody listening. But I just want to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so serious. I'm not kidding. I haven't thought out anything. I don't know what I'm recording right now. All I know is that I came up with the name for this podcast. I brought up Audacity, and now I'm recording, and I don't know what I'm doing. All right, but I'll tell you what's been going on, folks. I've been sitting around the house, for months. All right, and I love Star Trek. It's not just. It's basically my occupation, my employment in life to watch Star Trek. And I'm not getting paid for it. Not financially anyway, but I am being paid for it as far as how Star Trek just blows my mind, but in the best way possible. It's shaped my philosophy, it's shaped my worldview, it's influenced my wardrobe in many ways. I style my hair like Kirk's. You should see it. Maybe I'll post a pic on the Twitter. Anyway, okay, so getting to the point. Doing a Star Trek podcast is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, because there's a number of Star Trek podcasts that I listen to that I really, really enjoy, okay? But I want to do one myself, because I got all this Star Trek in me. I just got to talk about it. But here's the thing. I don't know what I'm doing. For less than 5 seconds had I even planned for doing this podcast. So I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I can just go I can make up an email address at the end of the show and then actually make it. So I'm doing the first episode of a podcast before I even set up a website for it. And I'm not BSing you people. I'm dead serious. I haven't thought one darn bit about this. So we'll see how it is. Anyway, let me tell you what's been going on in my Trek fandom. Okay. So. Summer 2011, I started going through from season 1 to, all 178 episodes. I started going through Star Trek The Next Generation, every single one. And I'll tell you what happened, okay? It sucked, alright? But it didn't just suck, it ruined everything. Star Trek The Next Generation Season 7, okay? It ruined Star Trek The Next Generation for me. Okay. So, you see, the intent back when I started going through these was, and I've all seen them before, I just started going through it again. My goal was that I'd go through the whole franchise, A to Z. I skipped the original series, though, and I skipped the animated series. So I just started off at TNG, The Next Generation, and, what a great show. I'm sorry, it's just a great show. We all know that, though. Everybody listening knows that. Okay, so Season 7, for people who know Star Trek, for people who love Star Trek and love these characters, Season 7 was just painful. There aren't really words to describe how painful it was, Episodes like Sub Rosa, where you'd see characters like Dr. Crusher and Troi acting like 6th grade cheerleaders, It was just terrible. I mean, you all know what Sub Rosa is, right? I mean, well, this is a crappy way to kind of kick off this podcast, right? I'm supposed to be all positive, and yeah, Star Trek is awesome. But I'm saying Star Trek is awesome, and it's because I think Star Trek is awesome that I'm naturally upset about when they ruined it. But I'm going somewhere with this. I'm just telling you what my Trek life has been like at this moment in time when I start this whole podcasting thing, and I have no idea what I'm doing, okay? But here's the thing, alright? The same guy who wrote Sub Rosa, Brandon Braga, the same guy who wrote that, whatever it is, he co-wrote First Contact, the movie. So it's a little amusing to me that and only 2 people, I mean, Brandon Braga co-wrote Star Trek 8 with Ronald D. Moore. And Ronald D. Moore, he's great, all right? I actually haven't seen Battlestar Galactica or anything like that, which, he's done. He produced that, and he was I think one of the writers. I think he wrote a few. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about the revamping of Battlestar Galactica. I actually have the original or what I believe to be the original 1978. Coincidentally, notice the year there, 1978, just 1 year after another movie came out. Battlestar Galactica. I have the DVD of the movie, but it turns out it was just for some reason they released what was originally an international theatrical cut of just the first 3 or 2 or how many ever episodes that made up the running length of it. They were TV episodes of Battlestar Galactica, and I was like, when I was watching the movie, I thought that it was gonna be I thought it was an actual movie that was made, and then they went on and did the TV show after that. But no, it turns out that was actually a TV show, but they released it as a movie in foreign markets. But then somehow I got a hold of that same cut that was released in American markets as a movie, which doesn't make sense to me. But it's just, I know that was a little tangent there, but it's just fascinating. It's just fascinating to me how the marketeers can do that kind of thing, world in the global aspect of how things are released and marketed and such. So anyway, back to what I was talking about with things that I've been going through with the Next Generation and my Trek fandoms. You see, the first few episodes of the Next Generation Season 7 are fine, okay? But they really started to get bad midway through it, maybe a little earlier than that. I hated the episode with Wesley Crusher in Season 7. They completely ruined that character. Because, I mean, you watch episodes like The First Duty and other episodes preceding that, and I don't have a problem with Wesley Crusher.
Shut up, Wesley!
But episodes like First Duty where they're building, because his dad was a Starfleet officer and his mom's in Starfleet, and this kid is going to be in Starfleet. And I thought they kind of they were playing that up, and you wanted to see that aspect of the character fulfilled, and that could have really paid off with the character. But instead, you see Wesley Crusher again in Season 7, and he's like this complete weirdo and jerk, and he's in this turtleneck. He's not in the uniform anymore, and he's ticked off the whole time, and he's like, Mom, I don't want to be in Starfleet, it's all lame, and he wants to do something better with himself, and it's like, where did that come from? It's just the writing was so terrible, and that was actually Ronald D. Moore. That was Ronald D. Moore's character thing. If you watch the behind the scenes of that episode that came with, the DVD releases, you'll hear him talking about that, and maybe as we get further down the line in these shows, who knows? This could be the first episode of 600 of them, or it could be the first podcast episode of just one of them. Who knows what I'll do with this? But I don't know. We'll see what people think, right? So Ronald D. Moore was talking in the behind the scenes, how Wesley Crusher, how it would be an interesting story if the very thing that Wesley Crusher was setting off to do would actually suck for him, which that's loosely quoted from him in his own words. But he went on to better illustrate it than that. But his ideas were certainly valid. I mean, it's Ronald D. Moore. He's a great writer. And by the way, so is Brannon Braga. He gets a lot of flack from people, him and Berman, but both of them contributed greatly to the Star Trek universe. And I see more flaws in Braga than I do Berman. But that's another topic for another time. I should get a co-host on here. Hey, my dog's in here. Hey, Lenny, you wanna say something for the podcast? He's sniffing the mic. My dog can't talk, so I don't know. Maybe one day we can whip out the universal translator and see what our animals are saying, right? That's funny. All right, so anyway, you'll note that what they try to do with Wesley Crusher, or Ronald D. Moore's vision for that in that particular episode. I'm talking about the one in Season 7 with the Traveler. Yeah, that story, what was going on with Wesley Crusher's character sort of paralleled what went on with Ronald D. Moore as an individual before he joined the Star Trek team and became a writer. You'll also note if you've watched the behind the scenes and